In this video, we are going to be covering some of the hottest crypto and NFT news. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is what's going on in the macro crypto markets. Now, if you look on any crypto and financial websites, you will see that BlackRock iShare is filing paperwork for a spot Bitcoin ETF. Now, all that really means is that they're going to create a new investment vehicle that people can use, like regular everyday people, to buy Bitcoin. So the average person who doesn't know how to use a wallet, they don't understand crypto, but they want to get in on the action, well, maybe they can just use like Fidelity or, Vanguard or whatever the case is to buy Bitcoin, right? So it allows them to have some exposure. And what's probably going to happen is you're going to see a lot of like business influencers or personalities talking on CNBC and all these things saying that, hey, you should have 5% of your portfolio in Bitcoin because you never know, it might go to $1 million, right? So I've seen that narrative and it's probably going to happen again. This is not necessarily saying that BlackRock is currently actively buying Bitcoin. They could be secretly, but most of the news articles are more based on the speculation that they're filing for paperwork to create the opportunity really for other regular people to buy. So we learned in the past, or at least I learned in the past, that other companies who have created investment vehicles that allowed regular people to buy into crypto without actually owning any crypto, that does create a lot of demand. So in the past, Grayscale was one of the companies that did that. So as you can see on their website, they basically took like any chain they possibly could and they turned it into an investment vehicle, right? So that's why you see Grayscale Bitcoin Cash. Nobody really who uses Bitcoin Cash, Grayscale Chainlink, Grayscale Decentraland, which is kind of hilarious to be honest. So like Ethereum, all these things, right? So if you had, let's say, a 401k account or something like that, you actually could buy crypto using this. Problem here is that the demand for these things are, you basically have to pay for a premium. You have got a better deal if you just bought Ethereum yourself, but because the demand is so high for these investment vehicles, you pay a premium. Now when crypto's down, what ended up happening is that you're getting it at a huge discount. So if you buy like Grayscale Ethereum, you can look at Yahoo Finance for this, but right now it's trading at like $9, right? But then Ethereum is at like 1.7K, 1.8K. So it's trading at a discount, meaning that if you bought this Grayscale Ethereum thing, like you're down, but you're down even harder because it's trading at a discount. So that's something you want to keep in mind. For me, I think it's better to actually own Ethereum, not go through like these kind of pseudo routes, because the demand's not there, then your investment can even drop even further, right? And these are like legal securities, I believe. So with the ETF, I'm not exactly sure if it's going to be just purely Bitcoin or it's going to be including other public companies that have a lot of Bitcoin. The devil's in the details. But also the other thing I've learned from this is that the reason for why people create investment vehicles like this is because the fees are so high. Whether Ethereum, Bitcoin and stuff go up and down, it doesn't really matter to the person that creates these investment vehicles, because basically for any risky investment, they typically can charge a higher fee in like multiple percentages, and then every time money moves, they're going to collect the fee. So as long as there's volume, they're going to be making money. It doesn't matter if the price goes up and down, right? And so you have to understand that's how the game goes on finance. The more complicated they make it, the more money they're trying to make without you realizing it. And that's how the game goes. Let's go ahead and move into some NFT action. First project we're going to talk about is probably one of the more popular projects. It's going to be Memeland. So they have recently just announced that they're going to be burning 111 of their MVP supply, which they held in the vault, right? So they held it. I mean, technically it's free for them because they minted it to themselves, right? So what they're going to do is they are going to take 111 of the supply that they already have. They're going to burn it, put it on Bitcoin. So I guess it's a Bitcoin Ordinals collection. Definitely hopping on that Bitcoin train, right? Nothing wrong with that. So they say the value is going to be like $10.69 million. I mean, it's true in the sense that if you take, the last sale, which is 58 ETH, you multiply by 111, then you arrive at that number. But the truth is, if you listed 100 MVPs at the same time, there's not going to be 100 buyers buying it at 50 ETH. That's typically how it goes, right? You can't necessarily say like it's the market cap of the entire collection, because if you were to have everything on sale, it's possible that people will undercut each other, and then actually the real market value is much lower. That's how it works for coins. That's how it works for NFT projects. So just be aware of that little detail that usually people leave out intentionally. I think people will be excited for this because the floor on captains is so high right now. Floor on MVPs is still pretty high, right? 58 ETH is still pretty high. And also the real thing that I feel is pushing the narrative forward is the meme coin, because like DeFi coins are like 100 times bigger than NFTs. So a lot of people view this as a possible way they're going to make money, right? There's not a lot of information on the post, but I'm guessing that if you do have the Bitcoin Ordinals, captains, there's going to be some benefit to that when it comes to meme coin. And that's why people, are interested in this, right? Something I thought about just in general, right, is if, let's say, if Memeland didn't have a coin, what would this project look like? Maybe it would look very different, right? So I think if you do buy any of these assets, you have to really understand like what the game is, because the coin is going to be very important when it comes to what the prices are going to look like. Now, other things that we can look at, let's say IP, right? Look at this from an IP perspective. Now, Memeland has been teasing like, hey, they're friends with the people at Caseify that make phone cases, and they use different anime IPs and put it on the phone case. I'm sure they have other connections as well for people using IP. I think for NFT project, the IP value a lot of times may be derived from what the art actually looks like. So we do have some teasers, right? So before we saw this version, the blurry kind of version, which is like, okay, cool. So now we see the eyes. All right, so we got some eyes to the body, and then now we're also gonna see some samples. All right, it's not the final version, some samples of the clothes. I mean, everyone can have their opinion on whether or not they think it's great or not, but the coin and people's belief in the coin, I feel like that's probably gonna be the most important, not necessarily the clothes. And clothes can look, the art and clothes will look good when the floor price is high, right? So moving on. So the next story that we have for you is basically a legal battle between Zach, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, XBT, and Machi. So just to give you a long story short, this guy Zach basically does like a lot of blockchain forensics to see like who's a scammer, who's not, where they're moving the money, all these things. In the past, made a lot of tweets about Machi Big Brother, which is a person who's pretty prominent in the NFT space for being involved in many projects and being a trader and stuff like that. And Zach had a lot of things to say about Machi's previous business endeavors, basically calling him a scammer, right? What's happening is that Machi is now suing Zach for defamation, saying that he's not a scammer and he's getting it all wrong. But because Zach doesn't have the same resources, he basically asked for donations, and he was able to get a donation of over $1 million from various people, which include CZ, right? Mr. Binance over here, and also includes Justin's son. So a lot of big supporters supporting him. At the end of the day, who's right, who's wrong, I guess the courts will decide, but having the transparency and having people answer to the things that they've done, I think is very important to the space. Now, next piece of news that we have to cover is the future of NFTs, and that is Nike collaborating with Fortnite. This is a much bigger deal than people realize, because Fortnite, Unreal Engine, Nike, right, or Dot Swoosh. So Dot Swoosh really coming up in the NFT scene, right? You don't really see Artifact's logo here anymore. I guess they're kind of seen as two separate brands, but Dot Swoosh, I get it. They're just trying to sell like digital sneakers and stuff like that. And gaming makes for one of the best use cases for a digital asset that's like $20, right? So it's like buying a skin in the game and you own it as an NFT. So that's probably what's going to happen. My guess is you're going to be able to buy the sneaker. Nobody will even know it's an NFT. And then they'll be like, hey, by the way, if you want to buy and sell your thing, you can go on the Dot Swoosh website. That's probably how it's going to go. They probably will make millions of dollars doing this, because just think of it like, you take out the NFT aspect out of it. It's really Nike collaborating with Fortnite to give you these really sick sneakers. And a lot of people will buy into that narrative, whether it's NFTs or not. But just knowing that you can resell your sneaker makes all the difference for some of the market. You have to also understand that Nike has sold millions of dollars already of $20 sneakers. As you can see, the Nike Air Force #1, all these boxes, and the sneakers over here, and also whatever they've done with Artifact. The way I look at it is like this: Artifact is trying to be positioned as a premium or luxury brand, which gets the attention, and it doesn't really matter how much volume they move. It's just like the face, that's what they're going to put on the billboard. That's what they're going to do to make it look cool. And then what will happen is the average person who's not going to buy a CloneX, they're going to buy the sneaker for $20, because they're not going to spend like a few $1,000s on a PFP, right? So it's very similar to how, let's say, Travis Scott collaborates with Nike, and it's a very coveted sneaker, so it sells out instantly. Resale market is going to go through the roof. Because not everybody can afford the Travis Scott Nike sneaker, especially on secondary, what's going to happen is they're going to want to buy different sneakers that kind of emulate it. So like if you see a Dunk, for example, which is Travis Scott's collab with the swoosh backwards, right? What's going to happen is that you're going to say, hey, I can't buy this, but I'm going to go on the Nike website and I'm going to buy, any other Air Jordan 1. Right, so that's how the strategy works. You create, something that's very high in demand, very hard to get, and then the people that aspire to get that, they buy the things that they can afford. And so I kind of see Artifact is basically doing that for Nike in a sense, which a lot of people may or may not be happy with. It helps Nike a lot, but it doesn't necessarily help CloneX holders, like not directly in terms of moving floor price, but maybe over time it will. Now the final story that we're going to cover is going to be Snoop Dogg's NFTs. Now Snoop Dogg has been, honestly like licensing his name quite a lot for these NFT projects, building up the hype and stuff, and he's continuing to do it. So this one is going to be a Atrium-based NFT that he probably got paid, honestly, to like do it on Atrium versus any other chain. So you have to always keep those things in mind. It's basically, he's going to give you exclusive access to when he's on tour. So I think Snoop Dogg's not really doing anything extra. It's really hiring a team to create different types of content and merch. So you can see here, you're going to get this artwork shown in your passport. All right, so it's just art. Access to future Snoop Dogg drops and events and experiences, right? Updates and behind the scenes. You know, it's not really like much. You don't get to meet Snoop Dogg, but at the same time, it's, you know, it's only 42 bucks. So I guess it's like a digital collectible. You get some art, you get some opportunities to buy merch. So I mean, 42 bucks, like if you think about it, if you buy a movie on Amazon, it might cost like $20. So if you support Snoop Dogg and everything he's about, you know, it's not for everyone, but it's for people who are fans of Snoop Dogg and they just want to collect it just to collect. And it's 20 bucks, you know, it's not too crazy. And by the way, guys, if you are going to be in Japan next week, I'm also going to be there as well for the IVS blockchain event, as well as for the Azuki Japan event. So if you are there, definitely hit me up on Twitter and things like that. So with that said, that's everything we got to cover for the news this week. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I will see you in the next one.